woman and a child found dead inside of a northeast Calgary home.
In the last year or so, we were saying we haven't seen the mom, we haven't seen the little girl, we've just seen what looks like the dad.
What neighbors and police are saying. Plus, the mayor considers a new path for the Green Line.
Perhaps have the city and the feds only partner on the phase 2, which could potentially be a downtown underground option.
The latest chapter in a years-long dispute between the city and province. And interest in funding a new West Coast pipeline.
We have had a number of proponents come forward and ask to be participants within the pipeline.
What was said at day 2 of the Global Energy Show.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Jacqueline Wilson.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Police are investigating the deaths of a woman in her 40s and a child under 10 years old. The bodies were found by officers while conducting a welfare check on a home along Temple Green Place in the northeast about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Now, police won't say who called in that welfare check or if the two people are related. At this time, investigators don't believe there is an outstanding suspect. Neighbors say a woman and a girl lived in the home.
Our members are here to fully investigate the circumstances around these deaths, and we appreciate the community's support and patience as we sort out the details of what has occurred here today. I want to thank our members for their professionalism during this incident. I also want to let our community know that we are here to support you.
Our victim assistance units are available to everyone. Please give us a call if you need them. The investigation is in the early stages. There is no risk to the public.
We moved in about 5 years ago. We saw them out front playing, the little girl and the mom, all the time. And then, we haven't had any huge interactions. We've waved, kind of smiled at them and as we walk the dog. But in the last year or so, we were saying we haven't seen the mom, we haven't seen the little girl. We've just seen what looks like the dad.
Police are asking anyone with information to contact them or to submit an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers. Well, Calgary police have charged a third person in connection to the fatal shooting of Madison Cobb. The 23-year-old was gunned down in a parking garage last July. 2 days later, her ex-boyfriend was charged with first-degree murder. In April, police searched this home in Shaganappi and found a number of guns. Charges were laid against a 44-year-old man who police allege trafficked the weapon used to kill Cobb. Today, police announced that 38-year-old Rihanna Matter has also been charged with firearm trafficking. She's accused of arranging the sale of the gun used to kill Cobb. Well, a fourth man has been arrested in connection to a fatal shooting in Ogden in December. The victim was found dead outside of his vehicle. 22-year-old Yahya Abdullahi was wanted on a Canada-wide warrant and was found in Edmonton yesterday. Abdullahi and 3 others, including a 17-year-old, have been charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder. Well, Calgary's Green Line LRT has been a political hot potato, and today Calgary's mayor threw it back into the hands of the province. Kevin Green explains.
The city of Calgary wants the Green Line south leg to come into downtown through a tunnel. The province says it wants a raised track to run down 10th Avenue and up 2nd Street to Eau Claire. It's been a political tug-of-war for years, and Wednesday morning, Calgary's mayor yanked his ends of the rope, saying there's a way to go underground and cut the Alberta government out of the equation.
To build within the current envelope as far south as we can, and perhaps have the city and the feds only partner on the phase 2, which could potentially be a downtown underground option.
Farkas wants the provincially funded section of the Green Line to stop before it enters downtown, using any extra cash to extend it further south. Partnering only with the federal government to build a tunnel to the core would take the province out of the decision-making process. Businesses along 10th Avenue, like Michael's Pizza, say if that puts the track underground, that's what they want to see.
I think that'd be a great idea. A lot of places do. It's like a little shuttle service almost. You get them to the main core and then just shuttle buses in or a different line. Why not get off one platform and go to another? Other major cities seem to do it.
The province still says a tunnel is a no-go. In an email to CTV, the transportation minister said, "We're open to discussing refinements to the alignment, but a downtown tunnel is not on the table. The elevated alignment will reach more neighborhoods, deliver 5 more stations, and boost commuter ridership by 60%. Our focus is delivering an above-ground alignment that respects commuters and taxpayer dollars."
Just spitballing ideas, just kind of puts the north at risk.
Councillors for Calgary's north side want to see the Green Line reach their constituents and say the back and forth over the south leg hurts the rest of the city, essentially saying, let's just get it done.
I was okay with the elevated. Like we had 2/3 of Calgary that were okay with it. We have to get it through the core in order to get it to the north.
Last year, the Alberta government introduced legislation that could require the city to seek provincial permission before partnering with the federal government on any major infrastructure project. CTV reached out to the province to see if it would use that legislation in this case. We have not heard back. Kevin Green, CTV News, Calgary.
The province is halting the rebranding of Alberta's paramedic services. It follows significant pushback from paramedics and Albertans. Alberta's Hospitals and Surgical Health Services Minister made the announcement on social media. It follows the province's announcement last month that AHS paramedics would be changing the name to Alta Paramedic Health. It involved a new logo, new uniforms, and organizations representing paramedics said that the move did nothing to address the EMS crisis, adding no paramedics or patients needed this. Adriana LaGrange says less than $25,000 in project funding was spent on the rebrand and that no operational money went towards the project. Weeks of hard work has made its way into the Elections Alberta office in Edmonton this afternoon. Now, volunteers with Water Not Coal dropped off boxes of signed petitions. The group has been collecting signatures to stop coal exploration and mining on the eastern slopes of the Rockies. Opponents say mining puts water at risk. Musician Corb Lund is behind the push for this petition. He says in his experience, the coal companies are not forthcoming about how much they pollute.
Trust them 1 inch. And I tell anyone who's a fiscal conservative who's concerned about the taxpayer that this is a golden opportunity to save the taxpayer billions, because I stake my reputation on the fact that at the end of this thing, in 10, 20, 30 years, when the coal's gone, the taxpayer will be left with billions of dollars to clean up, just like we always are.
Lund says that he also expects the provincial government to use the question as stated on the petition. Since organizers were careful to get the wording approved, Elections Alberta has 21 days to verify the petition. Alberta's energy minister says several proponents have stepped forward to pay for a new West Coast pipeline. One of those groups, according to the minister, is a Fortune 500 American company willing to take on all costs. Tim Burke reports.
Alberta's energy minister says he isn't worried about the July 1st pipeline application deadline.
You know, you're going to have to wait and see, but all indicators are at this stage that we'll be meeting that deadline.
Brian Jean isn't saying much about potential routes or deals with BC, but he is finally talking about who could pay.
We have had a number of proponents come forward and ask to be participants within the pipeline and asked to be investors in the pipeline and want to have offtake on the pipeline.
Jean wouldn't name any of the potential proponents or say if any will be attaching their names to the July 1st application. But he does say one American company is especially interested, and Jean appeared to open the door to government investment in the project too.
Certainly the First Nations will be in the partnership. It's possible that the different governments may be. We've had one particular discussion with a proponent, actually a Fortune 500 company, in very general terms, about financing the entire project and building the entire project.
The minister reiterated Indigenous Canadian co-ownership will still be prioritized.
The idea of a wholly foreign-owned pipeline in which there was no Indigenous participation, I think could be quite difficult to sell, if not impossible, given the parameters that have been laid out in the federal government's major projects guidelines.
But there are signs local companies aren't jumping at the opportunity right now.
Over the past decade, we have continued to add incremental regulatory burdens and costs to the industry.
In a speech Tuesday, the leader of one of Canada's biggest oil companies called the pipeline unfinanceable. He's not happy with new emissions reduction policies.
Part of what they're advocating now is we can't afford to pay the industrial carbon price on all our production and also afford this $30 to $40 billion project. Can you pick one or the other?
And with other new projects and expansions on the horizon, oil supply could eventually become an issue.
There's quite a lot of pipeline to move into. That will get filled up with what we call oil sands brownfield or existing investments. If you want to do that whole other million-barrel pipeline, we need to start investing in greenfield. No one has done that in the oil sands since 2013.
Tim Brook, CTV News, Calgary.
Boating advisories have been lifted for the Bow and the Elbow rivers. According to the fire department, flow rates have settled down and river conditions have improved. They warn that the water is still very cold and visibility is still low. So anyone on or around the river should remain cautious. The advisory came after heavy rain and rapid snowmelt in the mountains. Bit of a stormy day today, but I was able to sneak a dog walk out a couple times during the storm. So I guess, is tomorrow going to be more the same?
Well, yeah, you're going to have to find the windows to sneak out once again tomorrow. And really for the rest of the work week, keep that in mind. All right, so for tomorrow, it looks like we'll kick off the day a lot better than what we did today. So drier, I guess I should say. A mix of sun and cloud, probably a little more cloud cover than sunshine, to be honest, and 13 degrees at 8 a.m. So a bit of a stable start to the day. But by 3 in the afternoon, that's when we have the chance of showers rolling in, risk of thunderstorm activity, and the winds will pick up once again out of the northwest. It's a chillier wind gusting up to 50 kilometers per hour. It does shape up, though, in time for the weekend. Your full forecast is just ahead.
Okay, that is good news. Thanks, Danielle. Well, the summer festival and event season is here, but you need to watch out if you're buying secondhand tickets. How artificial intelligence is making it even harder to know what's fake. Next.
You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
There was more than rain falling from the sky in the Beltline today. Firefighters blocked off an area below an apartment high-rise on 12th Street Southwest at about 11:45 a.m. because of falling glass. They discovered a broken window on the 7th floor, and firefighters cleared away the remaining shards of glass and they swept up the debris. It's now up to the property management company to complete the repairs. Luckily, no one was hurt. Alberta organizations are warning consumers and vendors to watch for a growing number of scams that are targeting major festivals or selling inflated tickets. Fraudsters are using artificial intelligence to create fake ads and emails to trick people into sending them money. Mark Valeni has more.
Each year, hundreds of vendors take part in the Calgary Stampede. Applications to apply closed months ago, but that's not stopping scammers from creating fake ads like this.
These AI tools make it look extremely legitimate, so we just have to be aware from the beginning that those tools are there, even if, the graphic design looks really well done.
Fraudsters are making social media posts and asking for direct payment to be included in the festival, but the Stampede is warning not to fall victim.
Any communication from us will come through the Calgary Stampede in our emails. We will never ask for e-transfers. Please do not provide them any payment. Do not give them your data or any information.
Outside the city, similar incidents are occurring for the Banff Christmas market.
The spam accounts then would respond to people who had engaged with them, confirming them a spot at their market, accepting payment, and then they go radio silent.
Scammers are using fake email accounts that are misspelled by a letter or two. They're promoting fake hotel deals and even impersonating local residents to ask for upfront payments.
I think this is definitely beyond the bot level. It's got to be someone, especially targeting all these local vendors.
It's why cybersecurity experts say anyone demanding e-transfers shouldn't be taken seriously, and the most trusted form of payment is through a credit card.
And if there's a dispute, you can deal with the credit card company, and there's a whole army of people there who will fight for you. If you do a direct bank transfer or use Western Union or something like that, your money's gone.
Meanwhile, Cedar Calgary is dealing with different issues.
It's a lot of money.
Third-party websites selling tickets for more than 5 times face value. 1, 2, 3, 4. Its latest production, Come From Away, is being targeted. The theater is warning consumers to only buy tickets on its website or box office.
That's really disheartening because the Calgary arts are affordable. We're affordable. You want your money going in to support the arts groups here and not going into the pockets of a secondary seller.
Just another reason to stay alert online and be aware of what you're buying. Mark Valeni, CTV News, Calgary.
The federal government's new online safety bill was introduced in the House of Commons today. It would force social media platforms to block access for kids under 16.
In 2023, there were 19,000 incidents of online child sex exploitation in Canada, which is a 500% increase in a few short years. Reports also show that online luring of children is on the rise. As a result of all this, kids exposed to this have a 4 times higher incidence of ideation and suicidal thoughts.
The bill would regulate companies behind AI chatbots by requiring them to act responsibly. That would include measures such as crisis intervention protocols. The legislation would also create a new regulator. The bill covers 7 types of content, and they include inducing self-harm, inciting violence, promoting hatred, and non-consensual intimate content. A new $210 million wallboard manufacturing plant in Wheatland County is expected to bring jobs, strengthen construction, supply chains, and reduce environmental impacts. The 200-acre site near Carsland opened today. It will create nearly 100 full-time jobs. CGC Inc. says that it will expand manufacturing capacity of sheetrock wallboard, which is used in housing, commercial, and infrastructure projects. It ensures builders in Western Canada have access to materials more quickly. That is expected to reduce carbon emission by 20% and drop water usage by 25%. The company says none of the manufacturing waste will go to the landfill. The site also generates its own solar power. Well, the European Bakery and Deli on 17th Avenue Southwest is celebrating its 20th anniversary. The bakery is owned and operated by Shachir and Luminia Durai. They moved to Calgary from Kosovo in 1999. It took them 6 years to find the right location and raise enough money to start their business. The bakery has now grown to employ 16 staff. Many of their family recipes have been passed down through generations. And they also got some good advice when they were starting out as baking instructors at SAIT.
When I started, they said, no, if you want to be successful, please stick with what you brought. Because what we have from the SAIT, everybody might find at the superstore or a Safeway, and you can't compete with those guys.
Well, they've just added a new retail space, which frees up more room for increased production. Looks delicious. Well, rain is on the way. Danielle Savoni is along next with the details in her Skywatch weather forecast. Stay with us.
All right, well, today was windy and gloomy and rainy, and there were a lot of thunderstorms in southern Alberta. Basically, to mentally prep yourself for the rest of this work week, make sure you expect rainfall, active weather at times, but it shapes up for the weekend. And I'll show you that in the long range in just a second. All right, looking at temperatures, 17 was the high in Medicine Hat and Brooks today, 18 for Drumheller, 15 for Calgary and Lethbridge. A normal daytime high in the city is 20 degrees for this time of year, so we're below normal. This also came with strong winds at times out of the north and northwest. We maxed out at 67 kilometers per hour in Calgary, so a very windy day, 65 in Pincher Creek, and closer to that 60 mark for Lethbridge. For the far south, gusts, especially Lethbridge to Pincher Creek, 50 to 60 kilometers per hour once again for tomorrow. For Calgary, we're still looking at 40 to 50 kilometer per hour gusts. That will extend likely to Brooks. So it's still another windy one tomorrow and unsettled in the afternoon. Here's a look at earlier today, all the thunderstorms that pushed down mainly in the east end. We did see rainfall in Calgary for much of the day. It shaped up later in the day, and then we had more rainfall that has been rolling in, and now it's very isolated. For tomorrow morning, a mix of sun and cloud, likely a little more cloud cover than sunshine for your morning. Small chance of any sort of raindrops out there. But the greater chance is when we get into 3 o'clock. By 3 o'clock, we get into the risk of showers. Some pockets could actually be quite heavy at times, and even some thunderstorm activity, especially closer to the supper hours. So then we get into heavier, more widespread, consistent rainfall in the city Thursday night through Friday morning, and this looks like it will clear out just after the noon hour on Friday. This is why, though, we will pick up some decent totals in the city over Thursday night through Friday. Okay, tomorrow's high, 17 degrees. A mix of sun and cloud for the morning hours. Clouds increasing, and then by 3 o'clock we get into the risk of showers and thunderstorms. And then that more consistent rainfall Thursday night through Friday will bring about 5 to 10 millimeters of rain. Clears out early Friday afternoon. Friday just a high of 11. By the weekend, though, it's a really good improvement day on Saturday. 17 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud, and then more sunshine expected on Sunday and a high of 22.
Okay, thanks, Danielle. A local artist has recreated a Calgary landmark, and it's turned into a trip down memory lane for a famous resident of our city. This is a mini version of the Hart House, where Calgary's wrestling dynasty grew up. The artist is a fan of the sport, and now Brett, the hitman Hart, is a fan of her work. Brett had no problem, pointing out his room where he bunked with 5 of his brothers. The miniature features a replica bear in a cage, which was a real feature of the Hart home. There's also the dungeon where the boys used to wrestle.
They're all good memories, and that's the one thing about the Hart House, I think, is that it was a house of love, like mostly for so many people that were there. Like even the wrestlers that visited, it was a fun place to go and walk around.
Well, the original Hart House sold in the early 2000s. The miniature one will be turned over to the Hart family in July. Well, the Crow's Nest Pass Community Orchestra is marking a major milestone. This year marks 100 years since its inception. John Edwin Upton began the Hillcrest Orchestra in 1926. It's the largest volunteer orchestra in Western Canada and one of the oldest in the country. Members have come from a number of nearby communities. Musicians' ages range from 9 to almost 90. Well, Tourism Calgary has a new idea to keep people in the city a little bit longer. After the break, we'll share their plan to make our city the ultimate layover destination. Welcome back. It is usually the bane of air travelers, the dreaded layover, but Tourism Calgary is hoping to make it a lot more fun. The city is teaming up with WestJet for a program that encourages travelers with layovers to stay and explore Calgary. Calgary International Airport and the Hotel Association are also giving guests some WestJet routes deals to stay and eat at 19 partner hotels and access to the Calgary Attractions Pass. Every year, more than 7 million travelers connect through Calgary without ever leaving the airport. So the program could bring in a lot of tourism dollars.
People who are coming here are staying longer, they're spending more, and they're heading back home telling all of their friends and loved ones that they had an amazing experience in what is known as one of the friendliest cities in the world. We have a world-class culinary scene, 333 days of sunshine, incredible Indigenous visitor experiences, and a business sector where things get done on a handshake. Calgary truly is a very special place worth stopping for.
Well, the program will initially target UK travelers. And a special moment for pilots and patients at the Alberta Children's Hospital today. Air Canada pilots met with young patients at ACH as part of their Air Canada Foundation's Wings of Courage program. Each month, the pilots arrive in full uniform, take part in art activities, they answer questions, and they present the kids with honorary pilot certificates. Pilots say it means a lot to bring smiles to the kids' faces. Well, that is wonderful. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.